Welcome back to GH Spoilers channel. Today we will learn about the issue that has completely upended the glamorous atmosphere of the nurses' ball and pulled back the curtain on betrayal, manipulation, and secrets that could destroy relationships, reputations, and lives. As Port Charles gathered to celebrate unity, talent, and community, secrets long buried began to surface. And at the center of it all are Curtis Ashford, Portia Robinson, Nina Reeves, and an increasingly dangerous triangle of lies and leverage that threatens to turn deadly. The night started as expected. Guests arrived in glittering gowns and tuxedos, the Metro Court ballroom was filled with music and laughter, and the stage was set for a memorable nurses' ball. But behind the scenes, trouble had been quietly brewing. Curtis, calm on the surface, had spent weeks uncovering truths that Portia thought would remain buried. Now, he was ready to confront her, and the fallout would be immediate and devastating. Curtis pulled Portia aside near the ballroom's terrace, where the noise of the party was muffled just enough for a private but intense conversation. Without wasting time, Curtis looked her in the eye and told her plainly, he knew everything. He knew that Portia had used their marriage as cover while playing a role in a scheme designed to politically and publicly sabotage Drew Kane. He knew that Portia had collaborated behind closed doors with Nina Reeves, and he knew that Jacinda, the recently murdered former dancer with a connection to Drew, had been hired by them to help ruin Drew's image. Curtis didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. His cold, calm tone was enough to send Portia into a panic. He told her that their marriage was over. He would be filing for divorce immediately. And he didn't stop there. He told her that he had every intention of exposing what she and Nina had done to Drew, to the community, and possibly even to the authorities. Portia's confident facade cracked in an instant. She tried to argue. She tried to explain. She said she had her reasons, that Drew was becoming dangerous and unpredictable, that she never intended for things to go this far. But Curtis didn't flinch. He turned and walked away, leaving her shaken and alone. Panicking, Portia made her way back into the ballroom, where she spotted Nina. She pulled her into a quiet corner, and the two women began whispering furiously. Nina, always stylish and composed, looked more anxious than ever. The tension between them was palpable. Portia told Nina that Curtis knew everything. Not just about the smear campaign, but about Jacinda's role in it, and how they had used her to try and drag Drew through the mud. The goal had been simple: discredit Drew publicly before his political ambitions could gain real traction. But the cost was now spiraling out of control. Nina, pale and tense, confessed that she had also feared this moment would come. She said that she, too, believed Drew was unstable and dangerous. But now, with Jacinda dead and Curtis ready to reveal the truth, both women knew they were exposed. If Drew discovered the full extent of their deception, there was no telling what he would do. They were so focused on their frantic discussion, they didn't notice that someone else was listening. Just outside the hallway where Portia and Nina stood, Willow stood frozen behind a column, having overheard every word. At first, she couldn't believe what she was hearing. But as the details emerged, the hiring of Jacinda, the plot to ruin Drew, the lies, it all made sense. The timeline. The manipulation. The reason Drew had been increasingly aggressive and unhinged in recent weeks. The people around him had been actively working against him from within. But what devastated Willow most was the realization that Nina, her own biological mother, had been at the center of it. Willow had given Nina another chance. Despite all their rocky history, she had tried. For her own peace, for Wiley, for the idea of family. But now, hearing her mother confess to orchestrating a plan so cruel, and partnering with Portia to do it, shattered something in Willow that may never heal. Willow didn't burst in. She didn't confront them. Instead, she slowly backed away and walked out of the ballroom quietly, her expression hollow. Later, Willow sat alone outside the Metro Court. She replayed everything she had just heard. And yet, as angry and heartbroken as she was, she made a decision that surprised even herself. She wouldn't tell Drew, not yet. Why? Because she knew exactly what Drew was capable of. She had seen how unstable he had become. How aggressive. How cold. He had manipulated her when Michael was in Germany. He had used control and fear to separate her from people she loved. If he found out what Nina and Portia had done, and especially if he learned about Jacinda's role in it, Willow truly believed he might snap. And she didn't want to be responsible for the blood that could follow. She sat in silence, thinking about how quickly everything had unraveled. Her marriage had collapsed. Her trust in Drew had been shattered. Her mother had betrayed her again. And all of it had been happening under her nose while she tried to keep herself and her children safe. Inside the ballroom, the party continued, though quieter now, darker. Portia, panicking, excused herself and rushed to the bar. Nina, shaken, tried to blend back into the crowd, pretending nothing was wrong. Curtis stood near the exit, already texting his lawyer. Drew was across the room, shaking hands with city officials, oblivious to the storm building around him. In the coming days, everything will begin to unravel. Curtis will file for divorce and make good on his promise to expose Portia. Nina will scramble to protect herself and may consider throwing Portia under the bus. Willow will struggle with what she knows and whether to tell Michael. Drew may begin to sense something is off and will dig deeper. And if he gets too close to the truth, what Willow fears may come true. Next, we will uncover the simmering secrets and intense motivations driving Lulu Spencer as she edges closer to a revelation that could shatter lives in Port Charles. At the heart of this gripping storyline is Lulu's burning desire to inform Dante Falconeri about a son he never knew existed, a secret tied to Brooklyn Quartermain Chase's hidden teenage pregnancy and adoption. With whispers of truth growing louder, Lulu's determination is met with resistance, intrigue, and unexpected alliances. Join us as we delve into the layers of this emotional saga, explore the clues pointing to Giovanni Gio Palmieri as the missing piece, and speculate on the devastating consequences awaiting once the truth comes to light. Lulu Spencer's obsession with unearthing and sharing the shocking news of Dante's unknown child has reached a fever pitch since she stumbled upon the long-buried story of Brooklyn's teenage pregnancy. The idea that a child was given up for adoption without Dante's knowledge gnaws at her, fueling a relentless curiosity to connect the dots and right what she perceives as a hidden wrong. Imagine Lulu poring over old records and whispered rumors late into the night, driven by a mix of justice and personal stake, knowing that this revelation could redefine family ties in Port Charles. Her mind races with the possibility that this child, now grown, walks among them, unaware of his true heritage. This isn't just a secret to Lulu, it's a ticking time bomb of emotions waiting to detonate, and she feels compelled to light the fuse, despite the potential wreckage it could leave in its wake. Yet, Lulu's fervor to disclose this bombshell has been met with stern opposition from nearly everyone she's trusted with her discovery. Both Laura Collins and Carly Spencer, confidants in whom she shared the shocking tale of Brooklyn's secret adoption, have vehemently cautioned her against stirring this pot of buried pain. They paint a vivid picture of the heartache and chaos that could ensue, urging Lulu to consider the irreversible damage such a revelation might inflict on Dante, Brooklyn, and the child in question. Think of the weight of their warnings. Laura, with her maternal wisdom, and Carly, with her hard-earned perspective on family scandals, both pleading for silence to protect fragile bonds. But Lulu's resolve only hardens. The more she's told to hold back, the more she feels destiny pulling her toward exposure. Her heart battles between compassion and the need for truth, caught in a moral tug-of-war with no easy resolution. The tide shifts, however, when Lulu finds an unexpected ally in Cody Bell, whose own history of deception and familial estrangement makes him uniquely sympathetic to her cause. Upon confiding in Cody about her suspicion that Gio Palmieri could be Dante and Brooklyn's long-lost son, Lulu discovers not just a listener but a partner in her quest. Cody, haunted by unresolved issues with his own father and a past riddled with lies, throws himself into the mystery with a passion that mirrors Lulu's. Envision their late-night strategy sessions, huddled over scraps of evidence in a dimly lit room, driven by a shared hunger for clarity. Cody's involvement feels like a stroke of brilliance by the writers, weaving his personal struggles into a larger tapestry of secrets, and it's no surprise to fans speculating on future twists that his support galvanizes Lulu. With Cody by her side, her mission transforms from a solitary obsession to a determined duo bent on uncovering the truth, no matter the cost. While Lulu and Cody have unearthed tantalizing hints about Joe's origins, the evidence remains frustratingly inconclusive, intensifying their drive to dig deeper. A pivotal clue emerges in the May 19th episode when Lulu receives a photo from Joe's mother, Camila, who claimed to be pregnant with him during a concert tour. Contradictory evidence from a former bandmate reveals Camila wasn't visibly pregnant during the alleged timeframe and abruptly left the tour in late May. A detail that clashes with Joe's believed birthdate of June 4th, though fans know it's actually May 15th. Picture Lulu scrutinizing this grainy photo, her heart racing as she spots inconsistencies that don't add up, her mind weaving a narrative that points closer to Dante and Brooklyn. Though this discrepancy doesn't directly link Gio to them, it's a crack in the facade of his history, a fissure wide enough to fuel Lulu and Cody's suspicions and push them toward a more definitive method of proof. The path to certainty, as both Lulu and Cody soon realize, lies not in chasing more hearsay but in securing hard, irrefutable evidence through a DNA test, a solution likely suggested by Cody, fresh off his own genetic testing experience with Max Scorpio. This approach offers a clear, scientific answer to the question of Joe's parentage, cutting through the fog of speculation. Lulu, with easy access to falconary DNA, could discreetly obtain a sample. Perhaps a stray hair from Dante's brush or a toothbrush borrowed from her son, Rocco, without raising suspicion. Meanwhile, Cody, sharing quarters with Gio at the sprawling Quartermain estate, is perfectly positioned to collect a sample from the young man, maybe swiping a used glass or a discarded comb during a casual moment. Imagine the tension as they handle these personal items, fully aware of the life-altering implications hidden in each strand or speck, their mission now a covert operation teetering on the edge of discovery. Port Charles, as fans well know, operates on a peculiar timeline where some stories linger endlessly while others ignite with startling speed, and this investigation seems poised for the latter. According to recent GH spoilers, Lulu and Cody are on the cusp of unmasking Joe's secret, suggesting their plan to gather DNA samples could unfold imminently. They might slip away under the guise of routine errands, samples tucked carefully in sealed bags, and head straight to a lab with a quiet urgency to rush the results. Visualize their nervous anticipation outside the sterile lab doors, the weight of 2 decades of hidden history pressing down as they await confirmation. Hints from ABC General Hospital point to dramatic unveilings on the horizon regarding Gio, indicating that Lulu and Cody are mere steps away from cracking open a secret that has been guarded for over 20 years, a truth with the power to redraw family lines and upend lives. The looming question, as this revelation inches closer, is the inevitable fallout, particularly given the already strained relationship between Dante and Gio. Their dynamic, marked by misunderstandings and unresolved tension, could fracture further under the weight of such a personal bombshell. How will Dante react to learning he has a son he never knew, one raised under a different identity, while grappling with his current frustrations toward Gio? And what of Gio himself, discovering his life's foundation is a lie, caught between a father who doesn't yet know him and a past he can't reclaim? Picture the raw confrontations ahead. Dante's shock, Joe's confusion, and Brooklyn's buried guilt resurfacing in waves of emotion. The dysfunction already present promises to amplify the pain of this truth, leaving scars that may take years to heal across the Falconary and Quartermain clans. As Lulu and Cody race toward the confirmation of Gio Palmieri's true parentage, Port Charles braces for a revelation that will echo through its tight-knit families. Lulu's relentless pursuit, bolstered by Cody's unwavering support, has brought them to the precipice of a DNA test that could finally link Gio to Dante in Brooklyn after decades of secrecy. From the tantalizing clues about Camila's past to the covert collection of genetic evidence, every step draws them nearer to a truth that could redefine relationships. Yet, with the existing tensions between Dante and Gio as a volatile backdrop, the consequences of this discovery loom large. Will this long-hidden secret unite or destroy the bonds it touches? Next, we will dive into the swirling controversy surrounding Trina Robinson and Kai, a pairing that has failed to capture the hearts of many fans in Port Charles. Despite the writer's persistent efforts to spotlight this couple on the hit ABC soap, the audience's response has been lukewarm at best, with many expressing outright frustration over the direction of Trina's storyline. From social media outcries to whispers of a potential new romantic interest for Trina, the discontent is palpable. Join us as we unpack the reasons behind this lack of enthusiasm, explore fan suggestions for alternative pairings like Trina and Gio, and delve into the broader implications for Trina's character arc in this ever-evolving drama. The prevailing sentiment among ABC General Hospital viewers is a resounding lack of connection with Trina and Kai as a romantic duo, a stark contrast to the apparent intentions of the show's creative team. Despite the writer's clear push to establish this relationship as a central focus, the chemistry or lack thereof has left many fans cold. Picture the countless scenes crafted to showcase tender moments between the two, only to be met with shrugs or sighs from an audience craving something more dynamic. This disconnect isn't just a fleeting disappointment, it's a growing chorus of dissatisfaction that questions why such emphasis is placed on a pairing that fails to ignite the spark fans expect from a soap opera romance. The frustration is almost tangible, as longtime viewers yearn for the emotional depth and fiery connections that have historically defined relationships in Port Charles. Adding fuel to the fire, alternative romantic prospects for Trina have begun to surface among fan discussions, with Gio Palmieri emerging as a popular contender. Many recall a charged moment when Trina's eyes lingered on Gio as he emerged from a pool, dripping with water and undeniable appeal, a subtle but telling reaction that hinted at untapped potential. Imagine the possibilities of such a pairing. Gio, with his own complex backstory and emotional layers, could offer Trina a relationship filled with mutual growth and unexpected passion, a sharp departure from the current stagnant dynamic. Fans have latched onto this idea, buzzing with excitement over how Gio's charm and vulnerability might complement Trina's resilient spirit, providing a fresh narrative path that could reinvigorate her presence on the show. This suggestion isn't just whimsy, it's a plea for a storyline that feels authentic and engaging. The internet has become a battleground for opinions on Trina and Kai, with social media platforms flooded with candid critiques from the GH community. One viewer vented, "I'm just not into them, they're incredibly dull." I think part of the issue lies with the actor portraying Kai. He doesn't bring the depth needed for this role. Another chimed in, reflecting on past pairings, "I felt similarly about Dex with Joss. He looked the part but lacked acting chops, and there was no chemistry to speak of." These comments reflect a broader sentiment of disappointment, not just with the actors' performances but with the overall lack of spark that leaves scenes feeling forced rather than heartfelt. Visualize scrolling through endless threads on X or Instagram, each post echoing a shared frustration that the emotional investment fans pour into the show isn't being matched by the on-screen romance. The consensus is clear: without chemistry, even the most meticulously written romance falls flat. Beyond casting critiques, fans have expressed deeper concerns about how Trina's character has been handled since the tragic loss of Spencer Cassadine, with many feeling her essence has been diminished to prop up Kai's underwhelming presence. A passionate comment read, "Since Spencer's death, Trina's been reduced to a shadow of herself. She's hollowed out, molded to fit Kai's lackluster persona, which feels like zero investment from the writers." Another added, "For a year, Trina had no real storyline, and then they rushed her into a romance with a new character whose only trait seems to be football player. It's disheartening. These critiques paint a picture of a beloved character sidelined, her vibrant personality and complex history sacrificed to anchor a relationship that lacks depth. Imagine Trina, once a beacon of strength and individuality, now appearing as a mere accessory to a plotline that fails to honor her past struggles and triumphs. Further dissecting this pairing, fans have pinpointed specific narrative choices that contribute to the unease surrounding Trina and Kai's relationship. One viewer noted, "I'm frustrated by how much of Trina's story orbits around Kai. Something feels off, and I think it's because his injury and surgery storyline came too soon. If they'd built his character and their bond more gradually, the impact would have hit harder." This perspective highlights a pacing issue, rushing into heavy, emotional beats without laying the groundwork of a believable connection. Envision the missed opportunities, shared hobbies, quiet conversations revealing vulnerabilities, or small conflicts that build trust over time, all absent in favor of a swift, dramatic plot point that feels unearned. The consensus suggests that a slower burn, allowing viewers to root for Kai as an individual first, could have transformed this couple from forgettable to unforgettable. The broader implications of this fan backlash point to a critical moment for Trina's future on ABC General Hospital, with many hoping for a pivot that restores her agency and vitality.